Cattle futures contracts were mostly lower Wednesday after a strong day in grains. That said, right now all signs point to a bullish cattle market in the months to come. Farm Director Al Pell has more from the Agribusiness Desk. Al?
Here on Ag Day at the Agribusiness Desk, we're talking to Sue Martin. We're going to be talking about cattle. And first thing I guess I want to point out is that the government says we didn't have as many cattle lost in that big snowstorm in South Dakota as we thought we were going to have. But we already had fewer cows than we've had since the 1950s.
That's
right. But the cattle prices are really going up, particularly for feeders.
Well, feeders have been phenomenal, but I think what's helping the cause there is the fact that they realize that, one, feeders are going to get less in supply. They're going to get tighter in supply. Secondly, they're looking at pastures, and pastures are getting in better condition. If you looked at the drought monitor, we're really shrinking this drought. We still have drought. You know, Iowa still got drought, Texas still has some drought, but basically we are shrinking the drought in a lot of areas where there's pasture. And I think that is enhancing the demand for feeder cattle as well. Wheat's going in under some of the best conditions that they've had in a long time. And that means good wheat pasture too. So again, I think that's kind of supportive to the market. It's amazing because what they're paying for these feeders is huge, but then that said, you know, says we've got to have a good fat price down the road for them to make some money. And I think we may see that because our numbers are certainly going to shrink, but the cattle market, I think, in time could see 141, 142, like on April cattle, on April fats. So any break in here I want to be using to buy that market. Feeder cattle, well, I think there's this huge gap on May feeders. I mean, it's like a $20 gap in prices from the expiration of this year to next year's May feeder contract. Sometimes you have to hold that market into January before you'll get any correction. But then we look at that, and I think supply is going to be very tight for feeders next year. So there you go. But we could have May feeders reach 180.
Wow.
And then I want to sell them.
Sue Martin, our guest here on Ag Day. Back to more in a moment.
Talk markets one-on-one with Sue Martin. Call Ag and Investment Services toll-free at 1-800-527-0051 or visit her website, www.futurescashinfo.com.
We're talking about the input side of your profit equation in Pro Farmers Profit Briefing Friday on Ag Day.